What's up guys, Volt here bringing you a brand new Fast and Furious car remake. In today's remake, I'm bringing the 1969 Ford Mustang Fastback that Roman drives in the Fast and the Furious 6. It's the 6th installment of the Fast and Furious franchise, as you can see here. This is probably going to be, a very big video for those that love the muscle category cars, like Ford, Dodge, all those different brands and such, the Plymouth and all that. And this car was, I would say, a highly requested car. A lot of people actually request it, and if I find those, I will put them on screen. So there you go. Thank you very much for requesting this, for thinking about it. As you can see, this car in all its glory. This car doesn't have too much customization, and the things I'll go over is actually on the car. Again, this car didn't get that much screen time compared to like the Daytona and the Ford Escort and that. All those fancier, more well-known cars, since Brian and Dom were driving those. Roman's kind of a comedic type character, I would say, for the most part. Even in Too Fast and Furious, he was more comedic than anything too. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the internet. We're going to go to the Travel and Transport website. We're going to go down to the Southern San Andreas Super Autos website. And we're going to go down and we're going to find ourselves the Vapid Dominator GTT. Part of the Los Santos Tuners update. Now, as you can see, I have pretty much all the trade prices for all the cars. If you do not have the trade price like I do, you're going to be paying $1,220,000 for this car. If you do have the trade price, it's going to be $915,000. So fairly cheap for the trade price. Even for the buy it now price is pretty cheap too. It's under 1.5 million, which is pretty good, and it is a decent muscle car. And I may also recreate Sean's Mustang Fastback as well. That is a more probably known and more sought after car than anything. I did create it with the Vapidelli, but if you guys want me to recreate it with the Vapid Dominator GTT, let me know. I would be more than happy to do so. So once you have your car and you have your color, meet me at the Los Santos Tuners, car meet area location, which is right here where I'm at right now. Now, if you guys ever see me in this spot, do know that I'm going to be making a video, or I'm going to be recording a video, or I'm already in the process of recording a video. So there you go. Once we have our car, we're going to go customize this beauty, so we're going to get kicked out, apparently. Hello? Okay. Alright. Well, Bad Sport, you kind of kicked me out of my car while I was doing a video, so you guys might see that. I might even leave that in there. I'm not sure yet. But what we're going to do is we're going to hit square and we're going to go mod this vehicle. So the Vapid Dominator GTT is in the muscle category, as you can see here. Pretty much self-explanatory. It's based on, the Ford Mustang Fastback, for the most part. So, as I go over all my builds, I go over the overall look, the visual appearance, and the basic design, the car, and how it's portrayed in the movie, game, or anywhere else in general itself. Anything I don't go over is completely up to you. I just put a few staples in if you want to recreate my build, or, recreate the car that I'm building right now, in general, or somewhat close to it, and you want to follow what I'm doing. So without further ado, let's just get into the build. So to start things off, we're going to go to bumpers, we're going to go to the front bumper, and we're going to keep that stock. Now we want that nice chrome front, bumper on there because it is on the car in the movie and in the car in real life, I guess, as well. So you want to keep that nice and chrome. You don't want to paint it to your primary or secondary colors. From there, we move on to the rear bumper. You actually want to take this bumper off completely. So you do start with a stock chrome bumper with some rivets on there or some bolts or whatever, and then it gets rid of the chrome and it just turns it to your primary color or your secondary color. What you want to do is you want to get rid of those rivets. You just want to make it nice and smooth, and you just want to make it white. Now, I would recommend doing the primary smooth rear bumper. That is my best choice for this build. If you want to spend more money and you have a ton of money, then you're more than welcome to do the secondary smooth rear bumper. It is the same exact thing. You're just spending probably like $1,000 or a couple grand more. After that, we move on to the engine. You want to go to the engine block. I just kept this pretty much all stock. I don't really know what was underneath it. They never really show what was underneath it, and not really many people know what was underneath it. So I just kept it none. For the air filter, I kept it none as well. For the strut brace, I kept it none. I could add a polished strut brace in there, just to add a little bit of flair, but I'm not going to. And for the intercooler, I just kept it stock as well. Again, this is completely up to you what you want to do underneath the hood. I have no information or details what was underneath the hood per se, so I'm just going by what was in the movie and what I looked up online. I didn't want to look up what a basic engine would look like for this, so I would say this is probably what a basic engine looks like, but I could be wrong. Again, design how you want, and let's move on. From there, move on to the exhaust. You want to put on the hot ring exhaust. Now, the reason I say put on the hot ring exhaust, the exhaust was actually on the sides. It was on the left and the right, and it came out the sides on a hole, kind of like on, if you ever played Need for Speed Most Wanted, little BMW M3 GTR had the exhaust on the side as well, and it came out the little hole on the side. Unfortunately, there is no option for that in this build. But the best option for this build, if you're going to do that anyways, is to put on the hot ring exhaust. I was actually thinking about just keeping it stock, just because it, in the back. But to be a little bit more, reminiscent to the actual build, and a little bit closer to the actual build in general, you want to go with the hot ring exhaust because it does at least put it on the side, even though it does stick out like a kind of like square or like a flattened rectangle type shape. From there, we move on to the fenders. You just want to keep them stock. Didn't have any, over fenders or anything like that. It's just a nice smooth body. It wasn't wide bodied at all. So I would just keep that stock. From there, we move on to the grill. You just want to keep that stock as well. Nothing really changed. It still had like everything on there. It didn't have too much, fanciness to it. It did have just like the basic logo on the front and nice smooth, or the nice meshed out grill. From there, we move on to the headlight covers. You just want to keep that stock. It didn't have anything that, would disrupt the headlights at all, so I would just keep that stock. From there, we move on to the hood. We go to hood catches. Didn't have any hood catches, so don't worry about adding those. After that, we move on to the actual hood itself. You just want to keep that stock. This is a nice smooth hood. It didn't have any carbon, no inserts, vents, or cowls or anything like that. From there, we move on to the interior. You want to go to the seats, and you just want to keep them stock. Again, for the basic most part of the actual car, it was pretty much all stock on the interior. So the best thing you could do and save yourself money is to keep the stock seats. And I'm not gonna lie, they do look pretty comfortable. From there, we move on to the steering wheel. The only thing that I did upgrade was the steering wheel, I believe, which I put on the Sprint Basic. The main reason I did this is because it had a 3-prong steering wheel, kind of like how the Veilside or the Sparco steering racing wheels are. Those are pretty much what I would say the Sprint Basic are, basically. But yeah, those are the ones I would go for, as the Sprint Basic. After that, move on to the roll cage. In my personal opinion, I did not see a roll cage in any of the pictures that I saw, and in the movie, I didn't see any roll cage at all. It could have a half cage, but I highly doubt it. So in my best choice, I would say no roll cage. Again, someone may correct me down in the comment section down below, saying, oh no, it did have this, and then show me proof. I will then update it in the top pinned comment, and give that person credit as well. So do make sure you check that. So yeah, I'm not really sure. I didn't see any pictures with a roll cage, so I would just go with none, at least for now. Save yourself money on this. Don't spend it on this right away, because it might not have anything at all. From there, move on to the lights. You want to go to the headlights, and you just want to keep them stock. You gotta have that nice kind of like old antique-ish like patina look to it. It's almost like the Golden Shower. If you look at the Golden Shower and then you compare it to the stock lights, the Golden Shower is a lot more yellow, but this is like I would say like a lighter yellow, a faded yellow, And I kind of wish you had this option for most cars, because most cars do have this color, but unfortunately they have like weird stock lights for these cars. And then we move on to the neon kits. Neon layout's gonna be none because it didn't have any neon, so save yourself money on that. And then you don't have to worry about color, so there you go. After that, move on to the livery. Now you do want to put a nice, beautiful black double stripes livery on this. This will give it that nice look from the movie, and that nice white car, red interior, and those iconic black stripes going right down the middle of it. Just look absolutely stunning, and it just kind of makes this car. Personally, if it had nothing on it, it would just look too plain. Those stripes just give it a little bit more oomph and a little bit more definition to the car itself. From there, we move on to the louvers. I wouldn't put any louvers on. I didn't see any louvers, so I would just keep it stock and just keep it none. Just a nice, glass rear window in there. From there, we move on to the plate. Now, I don't really know what style plate it had on it. It probably was either a blue and white 2 or a blue and white 3. But the custom plate that you want to put on your car would be FNR 157J. Again, that is FNR 157J. Now, again, this, I believe, is the custom plate on the car. It rarely was shown in the movie. Apparently someone did notice it or know what it is. There you go. If you don't believe it, you don't need to put anything on at all. You can put whatever you want. But again, I can't put any custom plates on because my iFruit app is broken apparently, and I don't know how to fix it. I honestly just think they need to update the app in general. They just need to add it to the social club or make a new app or update the app majorly, because it still does come in handy from time to time. I love making custom plates, but unfortunately I can't do that anymore, so I'm just going to stick with the ones I have already. Same respray over last, we move on to the skirts. You just want to put on the primary pillar scoop. Now this had like a kind of like side scoop on the side, almost like the Vapid Ellie has on theirs stock. So the best choice I could do, for that is the primary pillar scoop. You could go with the secondary pillar scoop if you want to spend more money. It's your choice, but I would just personally just go with the primary pillar scoop. After that, we move on to the spoiler. Now, most of the time, you do want to put a spoiler on, but I mean, on most muscle cars, you do not want to put a spoiler on, and this is no exception right here. I mean, this is literally nothing. From there, we move on to the splitters. I kept the stock splitter on. I think it looks the best, and it does, kind of fill out the best. And it was in the same design as well. It kind of looks a little bit plastic, personally, but I think it still works the best. And it does fit the color combination as well. From there, we move on to the sun strips. It didn't have one, so don't worry about adding that. After that, I move on to the suspension. I just kept the stock suspension. I mean, it was a muscle car. If anything, you could go up maybe a lowered. But I mean, it's a muscle car, guys. Most of the time, I mean, I would say 95% of the time, it's going to be a stock suspension. After that, we move on to the wheels. You want to go to wheel type. You want to go down to the track category, and you want to put on the expressway rims. Now, these I think fit the best. They have the 6-spoke kind of design to them. They do have like a double kind of design for each spoke, but I believe in real life, the rims kind of look like this a lot more than other rims. I know a lot of people go back and they go into the tuner section. They go to the stock rims, and they will put on some kind of weird rims, which I believe are like either the Chokudori, the Chicane, the Sosoku, just these three right here. I mean, these are the ones that I would say most people put on because they look really, really similar. I would say the Sosoku actually do look really good, and they actually look really close, but I just think that, the ones I have on right now that are just, from the track category, the expressway rims, I think they fit the best. And they just kind of look a lot more close to the actual design for the rims. I would say mainly overall. The double spoke isn't perfect, but I mean, if you look at it at like an angle, most of the time you don't even see the double spoked. And if you're driving, most of the time you won't see a double spoked either. Again, I think expressway is still the best choice, but if you don't want to go with these, another best choice and option, in my personal opinion, is if you go to the tuner category, you go to the stock rims, and you go down and you find yourself the Sosoku rims. Again, these have almost the same exact design as the expressway rims. They just don't have the double line or the double, each point is doubled. And I think they look really good. I may even change my mind in the comments down below. So again, make sure you guys do check the top pinned comment for any changes that I may make in any future videos or any previous videos as well. And then we move on to the wheel color. I would put on gold because most of the time they were, I believe, gold. It was like a white car, red interior, black stripes, and gold rims. So I would go gold. I think their best choice is that. I believe I just did this for Morimoto's Z33 as well. So there you go. From there we move on to tires. Tire designs, nothing, so don't worry about adding that. Tire enhancements, you can add bulletproof tires on if you wish. More realistic if you don't. Also, I wouldn't add low grip tires. It was not drifting most of the time, so I would either just go with standard or bulletproof, your choice. And tire smoke, white tire smoke. Last before the resprays windows, and I would definitely go with none. I did have a light smoke on a little bit at time, but at the same time, it didn't have a tint. It was just a nice clean car like the Daytona and the Retinue. So there you go. Alright, and I will see you guys in 2 seconds with a rolled steel primer color. Alright, and we're back. As you can see, I have my car in my primered out rolled steel. Pretty much what I always do for all my builds, so you know if it's an LSC color, a custom crew color. That way I don't lie to you and say, oh no, it's an LSC color, but it's actually a custom crew color. You guys need to either join the crew or, possibly even enter the code into your own crew to do so. So again, do make sure you look for the hex code and or RGB down in the description if it's a custom crew color. But today we're going to be using LSC colors, so you don't have to worry about that at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the primary. We're going to go down to classic because I think that this muscle car deserves a nice classic color, a nice classic finish. And you want to go down and you want to find the ice white. After that, we move on to the secondary color. You want to go down to the classics. And again, I believe it does deserve a nice classic ice white as well, to complement and complete the overall paint job for this car. From there, we move on to the trim color. I put on a Cabernet red. I think it's a nice dark red. I was thinking about a wine red, but it's way too dark. I would say a Cabernet red is really nice. It's almost like the CEO red in the CEO cars that you can get from the CEO menu. And this is, I believe, the best option for the seats. It's also the best option for the interior. It's red, but it's not too red. And, you know, it's dark, but it's not too dark. It just, there's like a nice sweet spot for the Cabernet red. And from there, we move on to the accent color. I just kept it ice white. For most of the time, I will keep it ice white. I don't really see a point in changing it right now, and I think ice white's a really good choice. And that is it. That is how you recreate the 1969 Ford Mustang Fastback that Roman drives in The Fast and Furious 6. Again, a kind of underwhelming car. It gets destroyed not too long after you see it, and it's a lot. Like I said, I believe it was a highly requested car by a lot of people. I must have a lot more muscle fans than I think. But again, I don't discriminate, and I don't really care if you're a muscle fan, an exotic fan, motorcycle, tuner. If you just like walking, it don't matter to me. But, you know, overall, I think it looked and actually turned out really nice. So let's go back to our parking spot. Now, since I don't have a custom crew color on this, I don't really want to show it off outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to go down to the test track and go in there with the other players. So yeah, this is the car in all its glory. As you can see, the color, really nice. Really white too, which is nice. Really good color combination. The gold, the red, the black, and the white just really complements each other very well. Does wheelies pretty good, as you can see. And yeah, it's actually a really nice performing car. And the reason I say I could turn it into probably a drift car for, you know, Sean's Mustang from Tokyo Drift is because it does have the double clutch feature, unlike, or, you know, the mid-drive speed boost feature, unlike the Vapid Ellie does. Now, the Rapid GT Classic does have it, and a lot of people do like that better for Sean's build, but I think with this in the game now, I think a lot of people will probably choose this over most other ones. And I still stick with my custom crew color for that Mustang as well, so I still think it's a really good color. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So, as always, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment down in the comment section down below for what build you want me to try out next, or build next. You know, this one, guys, just one. I get a lot of requests, and I've actually been backed up, and I feel real bad because a lot of people have been requesting a lot of cars, and I haven't been bringing them out because I've been moving, and it's just, maybe I'll do a commentary about what's going on, you know, with all that and stuff, but I've been getting a lot of requests, and I'm just kind of losing track of what requests people want me to do. So, hopefully this is one of the ones that you guys wanted me to do. Otherwise, I feel bad, but it is a car I did build already, and I thought I would do a video on it, so there you go. So, anyways, with all that being said, hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the support. Love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.